My name is Ethan Parker. I'm telling this story because the others can't. 2 months ago, my friends Liam, Grace, and Jordan convinced me to go on a weekend forest camping trip near Black Hollow Woods, a place rumored to have once belonged to a vanished logging family. Locals said people heard voices there at night. We laughed it off. We thought we were smarter than old ghost tales. But what we experienced in those woods was real. Something was there with us. Something that watched, followed, and copied our voices. This is what happened. I remember the excitement in our car as we drove toward Black Hollow Woods. The sky was crystal blue, and music filled the car. None of us believed the rumors. We were young and felt untouchable. Looking back now, that confidence feels stupid. We had no idea what waited for us. We parked near a broken wooden sign that barely held the name of the forest. The place felt lonely, like time didn't move here. I felt a strange weight in my chest, but I said nothing. Everyone else seemed excited. So I forced a smile and followed them in. The forest trail was long and quiet. Even birds avoided singing here. Just the crunch of our boots and distant wind. I caught myself glancing behind more than once. It felt like something was watching us from between the trees. I didn't tell the others. We found a clearing near the lake and decided to set up our tents there. The lake water was completely still, reflecting the trees like a mirror. The silence felt unnatural. Grace joked that nature muted itself for us. None of us laughed. We gathered firewood while Liam carved his initials into a tree. Jordan told him to stop, saying it's bad luck to mark the woods. Liam rolled his eyes. I noticed the wind suddenly stop. Everything became still, too still. It was the first warning. That night, we sat around the fire sharing stories. First, everything felt normal. But then, the fire dimmed on its own, without wind. Grace said she felt like someone was standing behind her. We looked. No one was there, but it felt like there was. We went to sleep, but I woke up hours later. The forest was too quiet, unnaturally silent. I heard footsteps outside the tent. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I froze. The steps stopped right beside me. I didn't breathe. Then, they moved away. Morning came, and I tried to convince myself it was an animal. Liam looked tired. He said he heard someone whispering his name outside his tent. But he thought it was one of us. It wasn't. We didn't whisper anything. We hiked deeper to explore. The deeper we went, the more wrong the forest felt. The trees were twisted unnaturally, roots exposed like bones. Jordan cracked a joke to lighten the mood, but no one laughed. Even he felt something was off. Grace pointed out carvings on multiple tree trunks. The same symbol repeated, a circle with 3 lines crossing through it. It looked ancient. Liam touched one, and the forest seemed to breathe, like something exhaled around us. We backed away. We kept walking until we found old wooden posts buried deep in the ground. They looked like the remains of a gate. Beyond it, the woods grew darker, thicker, and cold, a place untouched by sunlight. Grace said we should turn back. Liam laughed, but his voice sounded forced. As we crossed the gate, the air changed. It felt heavier, like walking into a room where someone had just argued. My chest tightened. The silence grew sharper. I wanted to say we should go back, but I didn't. I didn't want to look afraid. We came to an abandoned cabin, rotting, leaning, barely standing. Liam insisted we check it out, saying it would be cool footage. None of us were laughing now. The cabin looked like it was waiting for us, like it knew we were coming. Inside, we found dust, broken furniture, and claw-like scratches along the walls. Long, deep, violent scratches. Grace covered her mouth. Jordan whispered, "What made those?" I didn't want to know the answer. There was a chair in the corner, facing the wall like someone had been sitting there for years. I felt a coldness near it. When Liam touched the chair, we heard a slow creaking sound behind us. But nothing moved. We left the cabin shaken. The forest felt darker than before. I kept hearing something soft behind us, like bare feet on wet leaves. I tried to tell myself it was an animal, but deep down I knew it wasn't. Back at camp, we tried to act normal. We made food, talked, laughed lightly, but it was all pretend. Grace's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Liam kept staring into the treeline. Jordan hummed quietly. Felt like the forest was waiting. Night fell fast. Too fast. The fire burned weakly, like the air itself resisted flame. When we tried to sleep, the forest awakened. Voices whispered outside. Soft, familiar voices. They sounded like us. Liam shouted and ran out of his tent. We scrambled after him. He said something was calling him by name. My voice. But I hadn't said anything. Something had imitated me. Perfectly. That was the moment we truly became afraid. We gathered together and stayed awake at the fire. None of us slept. Every few minutes, twigs snapped around us. Footsteps circled the camp. But nothing stepped into the light. It was just waiting. At dawn, we decided to leave. We packed fast and headed back. But the trees looked different. The trail we came from was gone. Only endless forest. Grace cried quietly. We were lost, or worse, led. As we walked, we saw the carved symbol again. On tree after tree after tree. Surrounding us, they formed a circle. We had walked into something's territory. Something ancient. Something that marked us. Jordan suggested we head toward the lake. Water could help us navigate. So we walked. But the forest grew darker. The air colder. The woods felt alive. Breathing. Watching. Listening. We heard someone crying. A woman. Soft. Broken. Begging for help. Grace wanted to call out. But Jordan held her back. The crying grew louder. Then it stopped suddenly. The silence was worse. We reached the lake. But it wasn't calm anymore. The water rippled though there was no wind. Our reflections looked distorted. Wrong. Taller. Thinner. Limbs too long. Heads tilted impossibly. A voice called Liam's name again. From the treeline. It sounded exactly like Grace this time. Liam stepped forward. I grabbed him. That's not her, I whispered. He knew I was right. We ran. We didn't care where. Branches cut our skin. The forest floor twisted under our feet. But something ran with us. Footsteps that didn't belong to any of us. Close. Too close. We collapsed in a clearing. Panting. Shaking. Grace pointed with trembling hands. The clearing was filled with animal bones. Piles of them. Clean, pale, arranged in spirals. Like offerings. A huge tree stood in the center. Its bark was blackened, like burned. But there was no ash. Carved deeply into its trunk was the symbol. But this time it bled. Thick, dark sap dripping like blood. Liam stepped closer. The air around the tree hummed. Like a heartbeat. The sap smelled rotten. He touched it. The forest screamed. Not wind. Not animals. The forest itself screamed. Liam fell to his knees, shaking violently. His eyes unfocused. He mumbled words we didn't know. Words that sounded older than language. The forest went silent again. Terrifyingly silent. We carried him back toward camp. But he felt colder with every step. His breathing shallow. Grace cried, telling him to wake up. Jordan kept whispering that Liam wasn't alone anymore. I understood what he meant. Something had entered him. That night, Liam sat up suddenly. He stared at us, but he wasn't seeing us. His head tilted slowly, too slowly. His mouth opened, and a voice came out. Not his voice. The voice spoke my name, then Grace's, then Jordan's, like it was memorizing us, claiming us. I felt something ancient trying to understand our shape, our presence, our fear. We ran out of the tent. Liam followed slowly, his movements jerky, broken, like a puppet dragged by invisible strings. The firelight flickered wildly, and then it died. We grabbed our backpacks and ran into the night. Branches tore at us. The forest felt endless. The moon flickered between the trees like a dying lantern. My lungs burned, but I didn't stop. We heard Liam behind us, not running, gliding. His footsteps didn't match the ground. He whispered our names, over and over, like chanting, like calling us home. Jordan tripped. We tried to help him up, but the forest floor had wrapped around his ankle. Roots moved, pulled, dragged. He screamed. I will never forget that sound. Grace grabbed his hands. I grabbed her waist. We pulled with everything we had. But the roots tightened. Jordan's scream turned into a choking sound. Then silence. The roots swallowed him whole. Grace collapsed, sobbing. I held her tightly, but I had no words, no comfort, only terror. Liam's voice echoed around us, but it was coming from every direction now. We kept moving, but the forest shifted again. Trails bent, trees rearranged. We were trapped inside something alive, something intelligent, something hungry. Grace stopped suddenly. She pointed at something ahead. It was the lake again. We had returned to the same place. But this time the water was black, completely black, like a mirror reflecting nothing. A figure stood across the lake, tall, thin, limbs too long, head tilted, watching, waiting. It looked like Liam, but stretched wrong. I realized Liam wasn't Liam anymore. Grace screamed and ran. I chased her. Branches slapped our faces. Dirt filled our lungs. Her breaths were sharp and fast. Behind us, footsteps followed, calm, steady, patient. We reached a cliff edge. Below, the forest stretched forever. Grace's body shook. "I can't," she whispered. I told her we would survive. I lied. She knew it. The voice called her name using my voice. Perfectly, gently. She turned. Her face broke. She stepped back toward the trees. I grabbed her, but she slipped through my fingers like she had been claimed. I ran. I don't remember how long. Hours? Days? The forest chased me. The whispering never stopped. My vision blurred. My body shook, but I kept moving. I burst out onto a road. A truck stopped. Someone grabbed me. Voices asked if I was okay. But their faces, I couldn't trust faces anymore. I screamed until I passed out. They found no sign of my friends. No tents. No footprints. No carving marks. The forest looked normal. Ordinary. Like it had swallowed everything and cleaned its teeth. I never went back. But sometimes, at night, I hear my name whispered outside my window. And sometimes, sounds like Grace. And sometimes, sounds like me.